All right, so we're going to do an ankle tape job. The first thing I ask him is what?
Are you allergic to anything?
Y'all learn so quickly, I love it. Are you allergic to anything? Awesome. So you're not going to apply it because it's really sticky and I don't want him sticking to the socks and stuff for later. You'll go, okay, apply QVA. All right? You'll apply over here, bottom of the foot, and over here, just to cover. Okay? Usually this would be pre-wrap, but I'm going to use PowerFlex. PowerFast. New name. Cool. So what I normally do is I start from up top and come down, or you can start from down and up top. Just as long as from here, there's where his fifth metatarsal is, it pokes out here. You want to be below that because you don't want to squeeze the toes together. Okay? And I learned from the other day, I'm going to do spiral and not the funky stuff that I do because it's hard to learn. Okay. So you cover by half with the pre-wrap / PowerFast. Okay, so that all of his skin is covered. And once you get to the Achilles, this is where I usually change. It's going to be hard for me to do different. I'm going to cover his heel. Oh, wow, really? And then I run out. Okay. Normally with okay, so I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to finish just like that. Okay? So everything's covered. It's just one layer. It's not really thick. You're covering over by half every single spiral you do. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay. My next step is going to be my proximal anchors and my distal anchors. Usually, depending on your patient, so if I were taping her, I'd probably do 2 to 3 anchors on the proximal end. I'm taping him, you're a little bit shorter, but it's okay, I'm not going to judge you. Usually with bigger guys, taller guys, you do 3 or 4. Just depends on your patient. As long as you're starting here, I'm not going to grab your hair, don't worry, and go to about where the anterior tib tendon pops up, which is here. It's going to be on the medial side. It's where you stop. Okay? Again, you just do a strip and tear, covering the tape by half. Okay? Covering by half. And you always end up top. So as long as your two ends cross each other, just like an X, don't go up under here. To make it easier for you, it's going to be up here. I'm going to do one more on him. Okay. And I'll do one distal anchor. This gets right below where your pre-wrap ends. You don't want to be up here where the pinky toe is, okay? Or where that metatarsal head is. Because what its purpose is to have an anchor for your heel locks and figure eights when we get there, okay? So here we have our proximal anchors. I've done 4. I've done 1 distal anchor, all right? Our next thing is the stirrups. Remember, again, foot in the stirrup. Start medially because you have to pull laterally. Make sure your medial side is nice and stuck down. You want to make sure that you kind of angle back because this side of his ankle and this side of his ankle have to be covered. Okay? So that's the purpose of this. Is you pull laterally. So I get a good pull on him. I tear when I get up here. And I smooth out. Cover it by half on this side. That's all I'm doing. You'll see on this side. Pull. Okay. I have a good tension. And I just flatten it out. Again, 3rd time. And I tell everybody this, it's okay because his leg obviously doesn't come up here. Don't ever fight the tape. You don't have to pull it down here because that causes a wrinkle. You guys on this side can't see it, but it causes a really bad wrinkle. So all you do is follow the tape wherever it goes. Just lay it down. It's already pulling. That's perfectly fine. Just lay it down nice and flat. All right? The second step is called C-strips, or what's called on there is horseshoes. It's just basically a horseshoe or a C. I like to call them C's. So it's an open strip. Put your thumb in your hand around his ankle just like that over his Achilles. That's exactly what it looks like. All right? So it's open. You go medial to lateral always. Just like that. Okay? It's not a circle. Cover it by half on the medial side. On the lateral side. All the C-strips / horseshoes are doing is covering, you can't tell by color. Usually pre-wrap you can tell by color. But it's covering this pre-wrap right here. Okay? Just like that. Nice and smooth, nice and neat. Take your time. Don't rush it. All right? Next thing is the figure eights. All right, so the anterior tib, I told you about where you stop with your proximal anchors. This is where you're going to start with figure eights and all 4 heel locks, okay? There's 2 figure eights. You don't have to switch sides with either figure eight. You can go on the same side, left-handed people, right-handed people, do whatever's comfortable, all right? So I'm going to find his anterior tib. It's right there. Let's start right there, okay? I'm going to come back at a 45-degree angle, come around to the bottom of his foot, all right? I'm going to meet where I started, then I'm going to come down around the Achilles and come back up, okay? So here's your first part of the circle of the figure eight. Here's the second part of the circle of your figure eight. Do one more figure eight right on top of it. Angle back, bottom of the foot, come back around. Just follow the tape. The tape should lay down if you have a really good angle. And a wrinkle right there. All right, so that was 2 figure eights. Now we have 4 heel locks. There's 2 in each direction, 1 on the left side and 1 on the right side. I did that backwards. I don't know my left and right. 2 on the right side and 2 on the left side. So I'm going to start again, same spot, right on the anterior tib. Instead of going on the bottom of his foot right here, I'm going to angle down towards his heel, okay? Angle down, wrap that heel around. My angle's bad, sorry. There we go. Wrap around that heel and meet at the top. I also call these teardrops because if I tore this off, it looks like a teardrop, sort of, a really bad one. But it looks like a teardrop like that. Okay. You can do 2 on the same side, or you can alternate as long as you do 4. Okay. Other side, same motion. Starting right on top of that anterior tib. Come around it, lock that heel in. That's why it's called a heel lock. Just like that. Okay? Now all we do is close. Do a distal anchor to close up those heel locks and figure eights. That's 1 distal anchor. Start at the bottom, go up. Do not cover this heel. Start back at that anterior tib and close up. Because you're closing up your stirrups and your C-strips by finishing up to the top. Okay? Thank you for being still. That was awesome. And that's done.